Hey there, church family and internet friends. I'm Lauren Adkins, the director of youth ministry at Shady Grove United Methodist Church in Short Pump. And this week, my dog Sammy and I were on a walk together, and I found this beautiful leaf that I'll show you a picture of in a minute. We were walking, and I picked it up, and I was kind of carrying it around with me for a little while we were walking. And to be perfectly honest, Sammy kept trying to eat it, so I took a picture of it. But it made me think about how the seasons are changing. We're going from summer to fall, and the riot of colors and the changing of the leaves in the season, and how we all are going through different seasons in our life. I have a second grader, so I'm in the elementary season, but some of you maybe have adolescents, or maybe you're empty nesters, or maybe you're a widow or a widower for the first time, or maybe you're at a new job. Who knows what it is? Maybe you're in a specific season right now. But I was thinking about how we're all in this COVID season together, and that got me thinking about this verse from Ecclesiastes. I'm going to read it to you, and as soon as I say it, I'm sure you'll know exactly what it is. So it's Ecclesiastes chapter 3. There's a season for everything, and a time for every matter under the heavens. A time for giving birth and a time for dying. A time for planting and a time for uprooting what was planted. A time for killing and a time for healing. A time for tearing down and a time for building up. A time for crying and a time for laughing. A time for mourning and a time for dancing. A time for throwing stones and a time for gathering stones. A time for embracing and a time for avoiding embraces. A time for searching and a time for losing. A time for keeping and a time for throwing away. A time for tearing and a time for repairing. A time for keeping silent and a time for speaking. A time for loving and a time for hating. A time for war and a time for peace. And so, we're going through these different seasons. We're going through all these different seasons in our individual lives. We're going through this kind of corporate COVID season where we're all trying to figure out this season together, and we don't really know what the outcome will be, but it is a season. It won't last forever. This is not, the rest of our lives. At some point we will figure out a way back to normal, or a new normal, or whatever, whatever you want to think about it that way. But we are in different seasons individually, and God is with us through all those things. He has a purpose for those individual seasons. And he works all things together for the good of his people. And he's also in this COVID season with us. And it might feel hard and it might feel difficult, but God is with us through this whole process. If there's a time for war and a time for love and a time for hate and a time for peace and a time for being born and dying and a time for planting and uprooting, if there's all these times and God has set a purpose for all of them, then we know that he is with us in all of them as well. And so it might be hard to see it right now, but here's the picture of this leaf. And you can see in this leaf that change doesn't happen all at once. And when you look at it, you can see that, the seasons were changing, but this leaf fell from the tree, and you can see it's kind of stuck in the middle. And so we're in a stuck in the middle time. And it's hard and it's weird, but there's also some beauty in it too. Maybe it's not the riot of colors that we would expect in the fall season, but it's getting there. And God's getting there with us. Just the way that God created the tree that this leaf was growing on, God created us too. And he will get us through this time, and we won't be stuck in the middle like this leaf. So just know that I'm with you, and I want to thank everyone that has supported me and as a part of our community of faith during this time. This has been a hard season, and your love and support have meant so much to me, and my prayer is that I've been the same love and support to you that you've been to me. But that's all for me. I miss you, I care for you, and I'm praying for you. Bye.